Welcome back to my kitchen, everyone. It's Danny DiGiacomo. For some kids, Easter means chocolate bunnies, jelly beans, and marshmallow peeps, but for me, it meant pizza rustica. The translation of that is rustic pie or country pie. It's a Neapolitan specialty, and my grandma Minnie was the one who used to make it, and I used to watch her do it every year, and I can't remember an Easter without it. So I want to show you this version of it today, and I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. So we have 22 ounces of the best ricotta you can find. We have a cup of provolone cheese, about a cup of mozzarella cheese, about 5 ounces of Parmesan cheese, and we have our prosciutto, soppressata, and salami. That roughly equals about 9 ounces altogether. 6 eggs. We have about half a tablespoon of black pepper, about a quarter cup of parsley, and our shortcut for today is our ready-made pie crust. Normally the recipe that I give you shows it with the dough. You can actually make the dough, but there was no flour in the supermarket today, so we're using the pre-made pie crust, which is gonna save some work. So now we're gonna cut our prosciutto, and don't forget to take the paper from in between each slice as we do that. So I'm just gonna actually I'm gonna stack them, and then I'm gonna use my knife just to cut them into small pieces. We don't need to show. We just want small pieces, and we're going to do the same for each meat. So we'll work on our salami now. I just want to show you a little different way to do it. You can also use a scissor if you're not comfortable with a knife. Same way. Just go in half, and half again. You're just looking for small pieces. It's all going to get mixed together anyway, so. And now for the soppressata, we can cut that up. You can see that has a little bit of black pepper in it. And it's got a little bit more fat than the salami. So we go along the same way. And one of the biggest challenges, usually you make this on Good Friday, and one of the challenges is to not eat any of the meats as you're cutting it. So now let's cut our provolone and our mozzarella, just small cubes. Just going to help it melt together when everything gets mixed. And now for the mozzarella, same size, small cubes. You can see that cutting up the cheeses and the meats is the most time-consuming part of the whole dish. I like to wash my parsley in my salad spinner before I chop it. Wash it really well and dry it really well. Gets it really clean, gets all the sand away from it, and then you can just chop it. So let's make our filling now. You want a big bowl that's going to be able to hold all the ingredients. Our ricotta is in. We have our mozzarella. Mozzarella is more of a neutral cheese. The ricotta adds creaminess. Our provolone has a sharpness to it. And our Parmesan cheese adds a nice saltiness. Let's mix all of our cheeses together before adding the rest of our ingredients. Our meats go into the bowl. So I cracked our eggs into a separate bowl just to make sure we don't get any shells into the filling. Give that a good mix. Finish up with our parsley, our black pepper. Give that all a good mix and set it aside so that we can put it into our springform pan. So you'll need 2 of these discs of dough, one for the bottom of the pan and one for the top. And I just want to roll it out a little bit thinner. Let's just put our dough into our pan. You might get a few holes, but you have enough dough that you can patch it. You want it to hang over a little bit so that you can make a nice edge. Just going to pull some from here. Just work it in there a little bit. So that it goes up most of the sides. So let's add our filling. In. We chilled our dough that was in the pan a little bit more so it's easier to work with. I've heard this dish referred to as Italian quiche, but it's definitely a little bit more rich than a quiche, and it's truly a savory dish. Now we want to put our top crust on, and here's where we're gonna make it look pretty. We want to seal the ends so that we can make a bit of a crust. Roll the pieces together. You're pressing them in between your fingers.
between my thumbs, using my fingers, I'm kind of making a nice edge while turning the pan. Just make sure that's nice and sealed in there. And we want to actually, there's going to be some steam that comes out of it, so we want to make a few cuts in the dough. Maybe one even in the middle. Now we're going to actually brush this with some egg yolk before we place it in the oven. So the final step before we place it in our oven, we're going to give it a nice brush with some egg yolk. It's going to give it a nice golden color. Then we're going to brush the edges.
So we have our pizza rustica on a sheet tray, and we're going to place it in our 400-degree oven. It's been preheated. We'll cook it at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to turn it down to 375, and it should take about another hour after that. So altogether it should take around an hour and a half depending on your oven. And then we'll check it. So let's check our pizza rustica. I actually covered it with some tinfoil because I don't want it to get too brown. And what we're looking for here, that it's kind of puffing up a little bit. It almost looks like a dome of a cathedral. So we have about maybe another 15-20 minutes to go on this. But you can see how it's getting brown. I'm going to actually leave it uncovered now, and we'll check back in about 15-20 minutes. So this has been in the oven for about an hour and 20 minutes altogether. You see how it's puffed up nicely. There's a nice brown color, and I'm glad that I put it on a sheet tray because there was a little bit of the fat came out, so you don't want that to go on your oven. I hope you all enjoyed my version of pizza rustica. It can be eaten cold or warm. Cold as an appetizer alongside some other antipasto, or you can have it with your main course, or you can, in my opinion, it's a meal all in itself. We're pairing it with a Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, one of the best Italian wines, with one of the best Italian dishes for this time of year. Happy eating. See you next time. Hope you subscribe, like, and share it. Thanks.